It's at 5:15. I'd like to call the planning commission to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
From motion to adopt the agenda.
I would make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Jamie and seconded by Donna to approve the agenda. I'd like to adopt the January 25th meeting minutes.
Call the vote.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Any discussion? Motion carried. Like to get the approval of the January 25th meeting minutes.
Make that motion.
You
I'll
made the
second.
motion.
Donna, second.
Donna second it. Hey, Dave.
Call the vote.
Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
He is trying to get you out of here.
Motion carried. Dave, you want to take the certified map?
All right. First item on the agenda is a CSM to combine two lots to allow the owner to build an accessory structure. He had first approached me wanting to put it on lot one there, but our ordinance says unless you have a primary structure, you can't have an accessory structure. So he's going to combine those two lots so he's able to build an accessory building. So we're looking to get an approval to combine those two lots to.
Any discussion on it?
Is there anything wrong with combining them lots?
Nope.
Same owner, same
Nope.
everything.
Nope. He's kind of at the dead end. You kind of see there. So
I think it'd be a nice buffer between that residential and that substation
Yeah.
that's there. That larger
So-
building. I'd make the motion to approve this.
A motion to approve. We got a motion. It's got a second.
I'll second.
Motion's been made. Excuse me. Motion's been made to approve the survey map for 604 East Douglas Street. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
all right, same property. So he's going to combine those. He is looking to build a larger building than what the ordinance currently allows. There is a provision in the ordinance that would allow the planning commission to approve a building that wouldn't tend to dwarf the other properties around or have a negative impact on other residential properties in close proximity to this. So I just spoke to him before the meeting. He's proposing as his first option, a 40 by 60 pole barn. And the height would be lower than what our maximum would allow. So his first proposal was to build a 40 by 60 by 9 foot max tall at the eve pole building.
It's not the first time we've done that either. There's other structures in town where we've approved them.
Yeah, the only residential properties potentially that would be impacted by a larger building are across the street there. They're looking to build 4 either single family home or duplexes. And the owner of that property is here tonight to make that proposal. So he's comfortable with it after speaking with him. So our proposal would to be allow him to build that larger pole barn.
What is the largest building he could build for our rules?
Currently, our ordinance says 1,100 square feet. Obviously, that's something we were going to look at the new zoning ordinance anyway. So this is quite a little bit larger than that, but it'll be 60 foot facing the roadway there.
What was the height? What was the height of it?
We only allow 15 foot from the top of the concrete to the top of the peak. So he could go with a 9 foot building and still meet that with a 412 pitch residential style roof and be under that 15 foot by 6 inches.
When you say pole building, how's the exterior gonna be finished then with?
It's
metal?
going to have a residential look to it when it's finished. It can't be a pole barn steel.
Okay.
I mean, it could have a steel roof, but it would have to fit in with the character of the neighborhood that it's in.
Any other discussion on it?
Well, I just know like if Jay was here, he'd be like, if you allow this, then you got to keep allowing it to happen in the other areas, I guess, is my only concern. I know I drove up in that area and I looked, and to me, I don't think it's a big deal, but if you allow this, where does it stop?
I
guess?
would say a lot of the other lots in the city wouldn't accommodate a building that size anyway, just based on square footage of the lots. He's kind of in a unique position here, so I do understand that argument. Hey, you let so-and-so do it. But there's quite a few other limitations that this one wouldn't necessarily affect one's lot size. I mean, obviously a postage stamp lot in town, you're not gonna get that size building. You're probably not even gonna get the 1,100 that we allow. But that's for a discussion for you guys to decide if that's something you want to do. So
I don't think it'd be any issues with the utility thing. There would be no issues there that anybody would see.
I don't believe so.
The planning commission approved the one across from Roger Steingraber's on Division Street. I mean, that thing has got to be 3-car lengths long, and that's kind of similar to this, and that was approved by planning commission. I wasn't on planning commission, but that was approved. And that's similar to what you're talking here because it didn't bother any of the other houses around it, so to speak, block vision or whatever.
I think there's one like a garage separate from a house up on Lost Street too.
Yeah, there's been a number of them around that have been approved.
Yeah, Rod Schutz's family has that, I believe, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Like I said, that's something we're also going to visit when we redo our zoning ordinance to maybe allow in certain instances where
Mhm.
it would be a little more, an allowed use.
I don't see where that would hurt anything as long as you got a big enough lot.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else on it?
I think that one by Rogers, they had to not have cars parked all over and, overabundance of things like that when that was granted, as I remember. So I personally don't see any problem with this. There's plenty of room, and if they have to meet the residential look, it's not going to affect the property owners around it either.
Any other discussion?
I was just kind of curious, what exactly is a residential look? I mean, it's not just going to be steel,
A
like a
traditional like vinyl siding or
vinyl siding.
like they have different site, I'm just not thinking pole barn style where you're more of an industrial look to the building. It would have to kind of fit in with the character of the neighborhood. And that's stated in part of the language in the ordinance, if you allow them, that it's got to fit into the residential character of the neighborhood. So
Is there in that map that the builder submitted, the dimensions of the building, is there any reason why the building would be front or back, or that's just the location because it lines up with the house, or?
it can't be any closer to the road than what I kind of helped him draw this up. So I drew that in. It can't be any closer to the road than that. It could be closer to his home, but I think he and I talked that 50 would give him plenty of space to do what he wants to do there. He could slide it all the way down to the end if he wanted, or anywhere back behind where he's currently got it located. So I would approve any zoning that anywhere from that area back or to the east, I guess that would be.
So is this a personal use shed
Right.
that he's putting up?
Yeah, he's
I
here.
mean, okay. Personal use? Okay.
Any other discussion? Look for a motion to approve a larger accessory structure at 604 East Douglas Street.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Donna,
I'll second it.
seconded by Jamie. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Hey, Dave, certified survey map.
Yeah. All right. The next item on the agenda is if we can bring up that other screen as well. This is right across the street from the one we just approved. He wants to split those lots. They're not quite equal, but they're pretty close in size. They meet our 7,200 square foot requirement for minimum lot size for either single family and or duplex. It's zoned R2. I think the first home he's proposing to put a single family in, and then he may propose to put 3 other single family homes in there, or duplexes, or a combination of that. But this is how it breaks out. I believe Carol Land Survey looked it over and drew it up. So this is what he's proposing. And from a zoning standpoint, it meets all the requirements in the zoning code as proposed.
Anybody have any questions? Look for approval of a CSM for Douglas Street.
I would make that motion.
Amy made the motion.
I'll second.
Donna second motion. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Dave, the conceptual map.
All right, and last on the agenda is a proposal for a small strip mall next to 1200 North Shawano. This is currently a vacant lot. He's also had, I want to say it's Carol, draw this conceptual drawing, and we're looking to see if that's something the planning commission would like to at least consider. We're still working through a couple minor zoning issues. But we wanted to at least get in front of you to take a look at to see if this is something that you'd be willing to have him pursue. I don't, he's not here tonight, so.
This is currently where Subway is, right here in this building for reference. Subway's right here. So this is the lot.
Oh, okay.
And he currently has, after speaking with him, he's got tenants to fill all those spaces already. So he's excited to think that that's something the planning commission could at least maybe get the wheels start moving on should they approve this conceptual drawing.
What was the first part of your statement, Dave, that he potentially has a lot of these spaces filled already, or?
Supposedly.
Yes, yeah.
Didn't say what was going in them.
He didn't, and some of it he didn't necessarily want. I don't think it was anything that violated any ordinance, but maybe for competition or something, he didn't want to necessarily spell out
Oh, okay.
what those were, but
And the access would still be from Subway.
There is an easement that Dave found. Dave, did you put that in here?
I don't believe that's in there. He has an easement between those two properties to allow for a shared driveway.
We got it right here.
Is that the one, or was that for,
Oh, this is it.
oh, okay.
So this was recorded
So when they,
2003.
right, when that easement was recorded, there was 2 different owners, but now the same person owns both parcels. So obviously, it shouldn't create any type of conflict with the 2 property owners because he owns both. And then if it were to sell sometime down the road, if he wanted to sell them separately, he could still do that, still have that easement in place to feed both properties there.
Okay.
There's no issue with the floodplain there at all. I know it's kind of
No.
low by the
No,
water.
and that, if you know, the hotel or motel's right just south of there, so
Seems like a tight fit.
they're right at flood level there. So obviously any part of that will have to be 2 foot above the floodplain, but that's pretty easy remedy.
Are they gonna flood the rain? Are they gonna flood the parking lot of the hotel?
I don't believe so, no. I mean, they'll have to engineer all that out, so.
Not a lot of room in there for
No.
making stuff happen.
Yeah, it's kind of a tight fit.
How many parking spots are associated?
He's got the
with-
required number of parking spots. Yep. Including 2 handicap, as I recall.
$27 plus the 2 handicap.
There's no concerns with traffic flow or anything like that in and out of that driveway. I mean, there's plenty of traffic on that street now already
Yeah.
on Shawano Street.
It's a pretty wide swath to get in there, and then he does have semis come in there. I think he said every other week to drop off for Subway, and then obviously 1 or 2 of the other businesses might require
Do
one
they
as well.
go out the back way then
I-
out to Travel Plaza parking lot? Is that
I
how they-
think they kind of turn around back there, as I recall.
I suppose they can squeak out of here.
I don't know. There's kind of a little ruckus about that driveway there. I'm not sure what it is.
It seems to be working fine with what they have, but
Yeah.
like I said, there's just a couple more minor things that we want to look at. But we just wanted to get this in front of you folks to at least maybe kind of give the thumbs up to kind of have him to go ahead and pursue.
Yeah, this is preliminary or conceptual, so.
Yep.
He's got other things to do. This is just to kind of say, do you guys like where this is going?
And I think he does want to get moving on it fairly quick, so it would probably be even agenda item for next month, should we decide that that's the direction we'd be willing to go.
I like the idea, and we all know there's not enough retail space in New London right now. So anything that you could do to add to it, it'd be great.
Absolutely.
That's 7 more storefronts I'm looking at.
2, 4, 5, 6. Correct, yep, 7.
We're only looking to approve the preliminary plan.
No, we're not taking official action, just
Not taking anything
if we, unless we have a lot of negative thoughts from the planning commission that we might want to rethink. But basically, we're just looking to see if it's something the planning commission thinks he'd be able to pursue. You know, if you thought, no, we don't want that there, then he'd need to know that now instead of maybe putting some time and energies into pursuing what it's going to take to make this happen.
Do you pull up the aerial view again of the buildings actually? And
Wonder if he talked to the motel. Did he talk to the motel at all? Because that's gonna be kind of an eyesore for them as
Well,
far as that goes.
He did, and he was actually trying to purchase about 15 foot along that line right there, which would have just give him a little bit more driveway, which we thought might be helpful, but I guess the owner of the hotel passed away not too awful long ago and the son took over, and they're still trying to kind of feel their way through on what they want to do going forward. So I'm not sure what the son's plans are for that. So,
This will be just a 1-story.
yep.
I don't think the backside of that hotel there where it runs east and west, that part right there, I don't remember if there's windows in there or not, and
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be as bad as being at American and looking out at pumps and their tire piles and semi trailers out there. So
Yeah, they'll definitely have to engineer the drainage system for this building so it doesn't impact any of those other properties. And then he does meet the setback requirements on the side and rear with what he's proposing.
That's the back right there of the hotel.
Oh, so no,
Normal.
really not any.
yeah, there's not barely any windows back there. Could you rotate that?
And then he'll have
The
to,
other side, though, would have some.
Yeah.
For the front? Yeah, the front's got. window. Which way you want me? to go?
No, I meant the other back side where
The
those,
back left side there.
there,
The cars
Oh,
are
over
parked.
here?
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be the other back side of the building.
Cars are all parked there anyway, so they're blocking the
Right.
windows
Yeah.
anyway.
That's actually front.
That's
the
That's
entrance.
the
Right, the
front.
backside has got windows in it too.
Almost
One
like there's a-
facing the pond.
oh, yeah.
The ones facing the
And
pond.
the
but this
ones,
would be-
this other one that runs east and west that are just in the front,
Mhm.
that's the laundry room.
Oh, okay.
There.
Okay,
Yes.
Oh.
That's part of the laundry room and the maintenance area.
Rotate a little bit more, Chad.
Go north.
Yeah. So I think there's almost some natural drainage right through there where those, I don't know if those are no parking signs or whatever. There's some natural drainage right there. I think that goes out to the east.
That pond.
Now, the pond has got a berm around it, so it goes past.
Pick it up here.
Yeah, it goes right through there, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of engineering that has to go into this, but
And that just discharges out to a wetland area behind that pond.
I guess the only concern that I would like to see addressed moving forward would be the semis deliveries into those businesses. How is that going to be maneuvered? What's he doing for that?
yeah,
And if that is an egress out the backside, is there an agreement with the adjoining property to allow that?
I don't believe there is. He talked like the semis are turning around and going out the same entrance they come in. So I don't know if they kind of make a turn behind
Behind the
his
building?
current building.
Okay, I would
Um,
like to see that addressed.
Yeah.
As far as,
And maybe he can work out something with that other property owner where he does get an easement through there.
yeah, I mean, because once you get the parking lot in there and you get the cars in there, turning people around, semis in a space like that
Yep.
is gonna be a little tougher.
Yep. And if someone doesn't park right, I could see where that could be an
Yeah.
issue.
Well, if
but-
he's already getting
I don't-
semis in there and there's not any more parking lot than there, I mean, there'd be more, there'd be more room there if there was parking lot there,
But there would be vehicles.
Yeah, there's gonna be
potentially in
vehicles
it.
out there.
potentially, yeah.
So how do you maneuver around that?
That's still a grass lot now, so they're not turning on there anyway.
Mhm.
That's-
Yeah,
I
That's-
believe just the semi right now is delivering to a Subway and it's only not coming in real often. So it's not like there's going to be semi traffic even on a daily basis.
well,
I'd be
those other,
surprised there's more than one or two. Oh, I
those other
agree.
businesses going in are
Yeah.
gonna need some delivery depending on
Yeah, I
what
don't know
they
if it'd be
are.
a semi, but yeah, you're right.
So that would be my concern.
Okay. Yeah, he and I discussed that some, so it's definitely on his radar because he's got to have them come in and out of there. So
So does the Subway owner own all that property equal to the other lot line that we're looking at in the back? Or does it stop at his paved area there?
well, yeah, that's the
Is
current
it-
1200 lot right there. And I think he parks some of his, because he has a construction business. I think he parks his work trailers back there.
Yeah, so he's got,
And that
there's room behind there.
he'll be able to get through
Yeah.
there to access that property. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to create a landlocked property, not be able to get back there. So he took that into consideration when he had it drawn up.
Do we get kind of a head nod that maybe we should let the guy go ahead with this? Is that?
Yeah, I was just
everybody's
saying,
kind of-
unless there was just an absolute,
Yeah.
no, that's not the direction we want to go. I think he was planning on moving ahead with it.
Well, I guess my feelings are as long as all the setbacks are good and it fits on the property.
Yeah.
You gotta let them do it anyway, you know.
And like Jeff said, we certainly need the businesses.
Go back to that map you were at, Chad. And that driveway that goes out into Travel Plaza parking lot right there that I used to plow snow commercially there. And is that actually a right of way out there? Did somebody just kind of?
I don't think it's a right of way. He may have worked out something with them, but I don't think it's a bad idea to maybe
Just clarify it.
to
as
have
what
a
it-
right of way through there. If there is an issue with semis getting in and out, that would probably,
Well, yeah, just to
it's one thing to
clarify
get
it
in there,
so
it's
that the
another to get
expect-
turned around and
yeah,
back out. So
Well, it wouldn't be right away, it would be an easement.
easement, sorry.
Easement, yeah.
I can't see,
Something just so that it's clarified, so that after a building's built and then they can't use it or something happens legally, we don't run into that, so.
and geez, I don't believe that the truck stop is actually, it's actually a truck stop there, so I don't believe that they would have a problem with it.
Well,
You
they
know,
could
if he should-
potentially park a semi right there right now if they wanted
Right,
to and not let
right.
anybody come in and out of there.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Right, it would be a good
everybody's
idea.
been really
for 'em
good
to-
when I plowed snow there. Nobody ever did, but I just know that,
Just kind of got a little preliminary to go ahead. How do you feel about it, Jeff?
yeah, I think we got hollered at one time. We did plug that up with snow. That's why I know it. It's not, yeah, so I think it's a good idea.
Everybody else gets kind of feels the same way, so I guess, yeah, go ahead.
All right, so upcoming agenda items, we had to move our public hearing because of the weather. We did get it republished and we're proposing to have a special meeting. See, find the date is April, should be on there.
April
Oh, April,
6th.
yep, April 6th, so.
We had to publish a 30-day notice again. And that's the kind of earliest. We couldn't hit the notice and then hit the regular March 23rd date.
So we're hoping to have a special meeting on the 6th to have our public hearing so we can get that approved. So I will say that we found some spelling errors, a few numbering errors and stuff. What we're gonna propose at the meeting is basically what you've seen of it. Nothing substantive is going to change whatsoever. Like I said, we're going to work on some of the numbering stuff. We found a fair amount of spelling errors, comma here, comma there kind of thing. So I think the document that everybody's looked over is, we're ready to move forward with that. So barring any negative comments from the public, then we'd propose it as we submitted it. So
The 6th works for Eric.
just spelling it, like the Pfeiffer that
She's
you were
saying
telling
that-
me, I
she's saying
went
the
through,
date.
I guess I actually spent about 30 hours kind of scouring everything. So there was, like a couple of paragraphs were identical. So just stuff like that. It was nothing substantive at all. So
I think Susie caught a couple of things last time. One thing Susie caught in there that wasn't quite,
yep.
Right,
So we'll
too.
meet with Eric and we'll clean those up obviously before we have it published, but nothing substantive is we're proposing to change. So I think we're good there.
But Donna, to your question, Eric actually can't make it. His coworker Ken
Oh,
is planning on attending.
Okay.
But yeah, we will have a rep from Cedar Point here.
there's a tentative March 23rd meeting, which would be our scheduled.
Yep. At our meeting.
Does that work
so-
for everybody?
And that's all I have.
Yeah, I guess I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion. I'll second it.